Okay, cool. All right, well, hello everyone. My name is Amy Ward and I'm here today with Fanny Chu and Amanda Gunderson. And we're going to be talking about this wonderful program called Marvelous Mondays. So Ketel One and Portland Cocktail Week are teaming up to host fun and interactive virtual seminars, providing a platform for bartenders to share their expertise with other bartenders, and teaching them how to create more marvelous cocktails and allowing them to practice their craft while at home and to further connect with our community. So today, Fanny is my co-host and Amanda is with Another Round, Another Rally. We're gonna be introducing the entire program, talking about each other, interviewing Amanda. But the first thing we do before we get started with that is to introduce ourselves, share yourself, and we'll go from there.
Hello, hello. My name is Fanny Chu. I am the head bartender at Donna Cocktail Club in South Williamsburg, Brooklyn, New York. I am 44 years young. I love to work out. In fact, the beginning of this year, I made a promise to myself to work out every day for at least 10 to 15 minutes a day for the rest of the year. I think I'm on 145 day of 366. And of course, I would pick leap year for that extra day for the workout. My fiance and I have a sassy 6.5-year-old Maltese named Bowie. She is an incredible barback. We are also plant parents. One of our passion projects is to keep them alive. I love creating and styling cocktails with unique garnishes. And I'm gonna give it to Amy now to introduce herself.
Thank you very much, Fanny. Again, my name is Amy Ward. I am a bartender in Chicago by way of Baltimore. I've been out here for about 8 months. I work at Neon Wilderness and with Hospitality 201 as a bartender, but my main job is to be the health tender. I am a certified health coach with a background in exercise physiology, and every day I work a little bit more to bridge the gap between health and wellness for our hospitality industry, and really try to provide them with great resources for nutrition, fitness, and everything in between. That's why this program is so very exciting to me, because as we'll tell you in a little bit, we're bringing in some nutritional things for it, which is really awesome. And I happen to love the colors black, white, and red, so this is like just perfect for me to be here and doing this right now. So we're gonna start with explaining a little bit about Marvelous Mondays, and I'm gonna turn it over to Fanny to talk about what it is. What is Marvelous Mondays?
So what it is, Marvelous Mondays, as restaurant and bars around the country remain closed, and the way they operate has continued to change. Bartenders no longer have the ability to learn and gather together with each other. So we are no longer to share this craft with just sitting on the other side of the bar. And as brand that was built on premise with enduring relationships with bartenders as a foundation, we are authentically positioned to support them and their craft during this time of need. And while we can't bring bartenders together for in-house training, we are taking it to virtual approach that educates bartenders and teaches them new skills that can take them once on premise, once it reopens. So Ketel One Marvelous Mondays is a virtual industry series that will provide a platform for bartenders to share their craft and expertise with their bartenders through live streaming demos. So every Monday for 6 weeks, the leading bartenders will demo 1 to 3 versions of Ketel One Vodka's key serves on Facebook Live, all filmed and hosted on Portland Cocktail Week's Facebook page, calling on bartenders to join in and comment. And in addition, Ketel One Vodka will support bartenders through a partnership with Another Round, Another Rally, where bartenders will have the opportunity to sign up for virtual dinners and cocktail parties. So for each event, participating bartenders will be providing a complimentary meal kit from Another Round, Another Rally, and be brought together in an intimate digital setting for safe socialization and camaraderie. So who's bringing Marvelous Mondays? It's presented by Ketel One, Another Round, Another Rally, and Portland Cocktail Week. Ketel One Vodka is supporting the hospitality industry by donating Another Round, Another Rally. So you're gonna tag hashtag tips from home, hashtag Diageo donation, and at Ketel One US, and they'll be donating $1 in addition to 45,000. The brand has already committed to another round, another rally. And so every time you're using hashtag tips from home with hashtag Diageo donation and at Ketel One US, the Diageo portfolio of brands will donate up to 1 million to participating charities such as USBG, Bartender Emergency Assistance Program. So what can you expect from tuning in on our Marvelous Monday classes? You're gonna have Amy and I as your marvelous hosts. Brilliant educators, useful cocktail and bar educations from professionals with specific expertise designed around our favorite Ketel One cocktails. You're gonna have a chance to ask questions and chat with some of the brightest and most marvelous minds of the industry. And classes begin whenever Amy says.
Yeah. Heck yeah, they do. So classes are going to begin next Monday. All the classes are going to be on Mondays at 2 p.m. Eastern. And you'll get to see our lovely faces every single time, us with probably the best hair in the industry, I would say, hands down. It's probably why we were chosen for this project, and that's okay with me. So every Monday, there's going to be live virtual tutorials with bartenders that you know and maybe some that you don't, from around the country, each demonstrating a signature Ketel cocktail with a marvelous twist. And it's focused on making better drinks with the community in mind. So starting next week on June 1st, our first presenter is going to be Katie Renshaw, my new Chicago neighbor. She's going to be doing Marvelously Mastering Your Garnish, a cocktail styling workshop. And I've seen some of her garnishes. Her game is like real strong. So you definitely want to tune in for that. The next week, Fanny gets to take pretty much all the hosting duties away, as I will be teaming up with my buddy from back home in Baltimore, Ezra Allen, and we're going to be talking about clearly clarifying cocktails. So that should be very entertaining. Marvelous Mary. We're going to be focusing on the Marvelous Mary. I created a tomato water Bloody Mary for Ketel a couple years ago that has been used time and time again, especially through Camp Run Amok, Portland Cocktail Week, and a couple other places, and it's delicious. So we'll talk about that and some other things that Ezra has up his sleeve. After that, June 15th, we're going to be doing Using These to Master Your Marvelous Mule from the glorious Mary Palak out in San Jose. So we're going to be focusing on the Marvelous Mule on that week. After that, on June 22nd, it's Messy to Marvelous, making martinis with whatever you can find. And that'll be Mary Allison Wright and McLean Hedges. And that will be a marvelous martini that we get to watch them create. After that, something I'm super excited about, on June 29th is going to be the Double Buzz Returns, coffee varieties and brewing techniques for cocktails, presented by Souther Teague and Amanda Witt, and they're going to be doing the Ketel One Marvelous Espresso. So very excited about that. And I'm going to turn it over to Fanny just to talk a little bit about the family dinners. We'll wrap that up and then we'll get talking to Amanda pretty soon. Fanny?
So each Monday night, we're going to have 2 seatings for family dinner, and we're inviting 25 bartenders for each sitting, and that's 50 bartenders per week for the next 6 weeks. The link to sign up for Marvelous Mondays family dinners is in the comments. Marvelous Monday family dinner guests will receive a mover and shaker gift box, and with the complete bells and whistles, you'll need to mix up with featured serve for the week, along with Blue Apron gift card, good for 3 meals, so you can whip up your meal before family dinner. And I'm going to hand it over to Amy to
set it up. So yeah, thank you. The dinners will be set in tables of 8 to 10 in 2 separate seatings. So there will be the first at 8 p.m. Eastern, the second at 10 p.m. Eastern. And those smaller settings are for you to have a little bit more intimate experience with the people that you're having dinner with. You'll see Fanny and I bouncing in and out of those rooms, saying hello to everyone and enjoying our dinner and cocktail along with you. It'll be very fun. Very excited to see how this goes. All of this is made possible through Ketel One's generous donation to Another Round, Another Rally. And we have Amanda Gunderson, the CEO and co-founder of Another Round, Another Rally with us here today. And we are going to go ahead and give her a little interview. How are you feeling, Amanda? You ready for this?
I'm really good. Yeah, good to be here.
Cool.
Right, Amanda, I would love for you to introduce yourself and what is your role within the organization?
So my name is Amanda Gunderson, and I am the co-founder of Another Round, Another Rally. I founded this organization 2 years ago with my business partner, Travis Nass. And we just saw a couple of years ago that there was this sort of hole in the industry that needed to be filled. So we decided that what we wanted to do was raise 2 buckets of money. One is obviously for emergency funding, and the other one is for professional development grants. We started to see that there was really a whole underrepresented group of people that were not in those highest paid positions in the hospitality industry. So women, people of color, LGBTQ, people with disabilities. So our intention has always been to broaden that table, to bring as many people up to the table as possible, and to be, shaping the future for people into these very high paying jobs in the hospitality industry. We had no way of even looking to the future to see that one day everybody would lose their jobs on the same day. But when that happened, we just, we're sort of uniquely positioned to help in that way. So as soon as that happened, we just went into fundraising mode and just got to work.
Wow, that sounds marvelous. How does this tie into, what do you have to tie into the hospitality industry?
Myself personally?
Yeah.
Well, I started as a bartender in the 90s. And I worked as a bartender for many, many years. Well over a decade. I started actually as a cocktail waitress, and then I moved up into being a bartender. And I did that for a very long time. And then I moved over to this side of things, this more supply side of things, in I want to say 2012. I started with a small batch craft spirits distributor. I was the head of education and product development there. And we had a really beautiful portfolio. The kingpin of our portfolio was Tequila Tapatio. We brought that to the States in 2012. I worked with them for a few years. We really tried, we shot for the fences. It didn't work out. All of our distillers are still producing their beautiful products, but the company that I worked for folded. And right when it folded, a position came open at Altos Tequila. And so I worked at Altos for 4 years, just over 4 years. And last year I made the transition from tequila back into whiskey. And so I'm working now at Jim Beam. I represent all of the small batch bourbons from the James B. Beam Distilling Company. So Knob Creek, Basil Hayden's, Booker's, Baker's, Legion, Old Overholt, Old Granddad, everything that comes out of James B. Beam. Yeah, it's really quite a fun position. But in the meantime, we've also been working on Another Round, Another Rally. So we've done actually a lot of fun stuff with Lush Life. One of our first activations, I guess, or events that we did was this last year at Portland Cocktail. We had Jackie Summers come in and do a luncheon about diversity and inclusion, but specifically focusing on that word inclusion. It's one thing to have a diverse staff, but it's another thing to have an inclusive staff. And so we had this big luncheon about that last fall with Lush Life. So it's been a really wonderful partnership. And Lush Life is working with us on the final piece of the vetting of all of our grants that are going out. They're the ones who are just, making sure that paycheck stubs or that your supervisor is called or whatever, just to make sure that you actually do work in the hospitality industry. So they've been fundamental in terms of us being able to get money out to people. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, it's great.
So incredible.
So you're rolling through all the questions that we had, which is awesome.
We don't have to do anything.
So I guess what my next question is knowing what you're focusing on right now with everybody in quarantine, what does the future look like for Another Round, Another Rally? What are your plans for the organization?
Well, we're preparing ourselves right now. We've got a giant chunk of money in our tip jar that is meant to be given away. So as we have a team of people that are working on giving that money away, we have two sides of it that are giving money away. We have an English speaking side and a Spanish speaking side. And we've given about $500,000 away. And I would say half of that is on the English side and half of that is on the Spanish speaking side. So we're really trying to capture the undocumented worker, and in addition to the front of house, the people who actually really make your organization run, the dishwasher, the line cooks, all of that. We're trying to catch everybody right now. So right now we're focused on that. But so that's the triage moment. But when we're looking at the bigger picture, we think that there's going to be a need for support for likely the next 2 or 3 years. And that's how we're trying to envision the future at Another Round, Another Rally, is looking about 2 or 3 years out. So we're looking for strategic partnerships that are more monthly or quarterly, rather than just one big lump sum of money at one time. The money that we've been given is specific. The tip jar, all of the money that's in the tip jar is going right back out into the community. That's definitely not something that we're holding for the future. But we are now starting to look for donors and charitable partners that will help bring us through the future, because I think we're going to see in the fall a lot more need. There's still a lot of need right now. There's still a lot of mouths to be fed and diapers for babies and all sorts of things that need to happen to help people through just at the day-to-day living right now. So we are focused on that, but we're also looking really about 3 years out.
Excellent. And knowing all these different resources that you have for people in our industry, how can they get that help? Like what's our links that we go to? What's our websites that we go to? How can people that are in need right now get help from Another Round?
Yeah, so they can go to anotherroundanotherrally.org, and we have, you can apply there. I just want to make one thing clear. We have put a new application up every single week. So if somebody sent you a link to something that they applied for, last week, and you click on it and it doesn't work, it doesn't mean that there's not an application up that's available for you, but it's our way of organizing internally what's happening at Another Round, Another Rally. So we have to be able to say, like, this was week 1, this was week 2, this was week 3. So we just change the application every single week. It's an identical application. We just clone it and put it back up. So go to the website. It's anotherroundanotherrally.org. You can click donate or you can click apply, either one, however you're so inclined. The application is very simple. There is also a link on there for Spanish language applications, and that'll take you to, you can either apply in Spanish or there's a phone number that you can call, and we have a whole different vetting system over there. One of the things that we noticed in the beginning, in that first week, we got like 16,000 applications and only 40 of them were in Spanish. And so we realized that people, don't necessarily trust a newish organization online. People were thinking that we were maybe a scam from ICE. And so we moved everything over to the phone so that it's just a safer place for people to reach out and connect and be connected to our services. We also have on our website, there's a section that says resources, and there are 3 different types of resources on there. One of them is health and wellness, and that's pretty much nationwide across the board. It has a number of free services that you can get. So free counseling services, free meditation services, free mentoring services. There's a number of things that we do. We offer every Tuesday and Thursday on our Instagram Live at 3 p.m. Pacific, noon Eastern. 6 p.m. Eastern. We offer an interview with a licensed therapist. And so you can give us your questions in advance and have them answered, or you can just tune in and see what questions and answers are happening there. We a lot of times have just a licensed therapist to talk to people our age. But last week we had a child therapist who was there to talk to parents in the industry about, how to talk to your kids during this time, how to deal with your own emotions around your kids during this time. So there's a lot of great resources there. And then we also have a page that is resources by state. And so when you click on that, there's a tile for every state. And when you click on every state, there's at least, some states are a little bit more robust than others in terms of the information that we were able to gather, but there's at least 5 or 6 links that you can click on that are good resources that you might need within your state. Some of them are about how to talk to your landlord. Some of them are about where the soup kitchens are. It just depends on what the information is that we've been able to gather, but every state has a little something in there.
That's fantastic.
that is incredible. What an amazing organization. How do people volunteer for your organization? Is there a possible way to do so? Is there
Yeah. There's a volunteer button on our website, so you can go on and click on that. And what we've noticed is, so it's better for us if you can tell us if you have certain skills, because then we'll use those skills and put you in the right lane. But what we've noticed now is that we've had a number of volunteers who are starting to go back to work, right? So the PPP loans are coming in and bars are starting to hire people back. Even if you're not opening or you're not ready for takeout, there's a lot of like busy work that's happening in bars and stuff like that. So people are starting to make this shift back into work if they're fortunate. And so we have a number of volunteers that are starting to filter out. So we could definitely use more volunteers. We also could use more Spanish speaking volunteers. We started to bottleneck around the Spanish language applications because, you know, the English language ones, they can go, our volunteers who read those, we have a very small group of highly trusted people who are reading those applications. So it's maybe 8 people that are reading through those. And we've specifically kept that small just to make sure that that it's in the hands of people that we deeply trust, that we feel like, you know, if you're applying for this money, you don't want just any old schmo from wherever to be reading through your private personal information. It's a lot of very sensitive information that people send us. So it's a very small group there, but those volunteers can get through a few hundred applications in a couple of hours. On the Spanish language side though, because it's a phone call, you're getting through maybe 8 or 10 applications in a couple of hours. So we were really bottlenecking around that. And then we were banging our heads up against the wall trying to figure out how to handle that situation. And we do have a group of volunteers that have been with us from the beginning. There's 3 or 4 of them that have been with us right from the beginning, but it just wasn't enough. And then out of nowhere, we had this group of students MBA students from Stanford reach out to us and say, you know, we're looking for a nonprofit to work with during this pandemic that is focused on undocumented workers. And we were like, we need your help. And so we brought these guys in, and they've developed a whole call center for us. They've actually given us an infrastructure with a different platform than what we've been using that is so strong that we're moving our entire company into this infrastructure. But it's been amazing, this partnership with us and these students from Stanford that are, they had a professor that right when the pandemic started who said, this class is going to be about you guys finding a nonprofit that's focused on pandemic issues and helping them out during this time. So we just got lucky to be one of those nonprofit organizations that got that help.
Wow, that's marvelous.
Yeah, really marvelous. It's like so superhero cape marvelous. They just
you guys are like dotting your eyes and crossing
and we just so fortunate. So
cool. So we're gonna see if anybody has any questions about what we've gone through so far. I'm not seeing questions, but if Leo wants to tell us there's anything else coming through, perhaps we just did such an awesome job.
I feel like you guys covered everything. Yeah.
That's fantastic. Well, it's marvelous. Well, if we don't have any questions, we just want to thank everybody for watching. And we're really, Fanny and I are both super, super excited about this programming. We are excited to be working together. We're excited to be hosting everybody. We're excited to host these incredible educators and bartenders from around the place. None of this would be possible without Ketel One and Another Round, Another Rally, and also Portland Cocktail Week, Lush Life for hosting everything on here. Fanny, you want to say anything before we rock and roll?
Yeah, just everyone tune in next week for Marvelous Mondays at 2 a.m. or 2 p.m. Sorry, 2 p.m. for the first class. I'm a night owl, so I mean, like if you're a bartender, you're going to be up at 2 a.m., right? No, it's 2 p.m. For our first class next Monday for our first Marvelous Monday class.
Yeah, looking forward to Katie Renshaw and her marvelous garnishing skills.
Yes.
Awesome. Well, everybody have a wonderful day. Amanda, thank you so much for being with Fanny and I today.
Thank you so much. And we're so honored to have this partnership with Ketel One and Lush Life and you guys. It's really, every little bit counts. I will just say one thing, that the money that we're giving away is in $500 increments. So please go apply. If you don't get picked right away in the beginning, you'll go right back into the queue. So just, you know, go on and apply and put your name into the hat, and you know, hopefully we'll be able to send some money your way.
Excellent. And what's the website once again?
It's anotherroundanotherrally.org.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Everyone, have a marvelous Monday.
Thank you.
Bye, marvelous Monday.
Bye.